Please welcome to the stage co-founder of Amun Funds and chairman of Checkpoint Software Technologies, Marius Nacht, and Yasmin Lukatz, executive director of the Israel Collaboration Network.
Hi everyone. Hi Marius.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We don't have a lot of time. They said 15 minutes, but they put the clock on 12. I think they're trying to say something, so let's start to the point. Let's start with talk about Checkpoint. You founded Checkpoint in 1993. Checkpoint helped position Israel as a global cybersecurity leader and in a way pushed us to be startup nation. Did you expect it to be like this? What were your hopes in the beginning? I mean, tell us a little bit about the beginning.
Of course we knew it's going to be like that. Just kidding. No, when we started Checkpoint, it was the beginning of a real revolution when we started digitizing communications. Then Amazon started digitizing music and books, etc. And it started a huge revolution. And we realized in Israel that when good things happen, then bad things happen as well. So being Israelis, we started focusing on the security aspect of internetworking. And we raised $300,000 from Nir Barkat, who was the mayor of Jerusalem. And within 3 years, we turned it into $300 million. And nowadays, it's an $18 billion company, a NASDAQ 100 company. And I'm very, very proud to be the chairman of this company.
So cyber, but you're now shifting away, both on, you're focusing a lot of attention, both on your nonprofit work with the NGO 8400 and a lot of business decision and investing in life sciences and double bottom line. What prompted the change? This is a major change.
Yes, so I wouldn't say that I'm shifting away. I think that we're adding another foot for the Israeli economy. So over the last 5 years or so, a huge revolution, a tectonic earthquake started once we digitized our body, once biology was digitized through genome sequencing and then CRISPR editing our own DNA and big data, AI, all those tech tools that I'm quite familiar with started impacting the way healthcare and life sciences are being researched and healthcare services are being provided. And I realized that in Israel, there's a huge untapped opportunity. Israelis are very quick to adapt to new technologies. And this whole era of health tech that has just started now is going to provide for the Israeli economy another foot, I would say. So in addition to agri-tech that started some 20, 30 years ago, in addition to cyber, in addition to the defense sector, we feel that the country needs another growth engine for the economy, and that's going to be health tech. The reason I started is because I've founded and funded a number of health tech companies, and I saw that they were actually being sold or they were acquired by multinational companies too early and for peanuts. And if those companies had the extra financing to go through another inflection point in their valuation, then maybe we can build another Teva, maybe we can build another Checkpoint, or maybe we can build 5 of those. And any one of those companies like Teva or Checkpoint, they're a significant power to the economy in terms of taxes, in terms of income, in terms of job creation. But now we're not just dealing with cybersecurity, we're actually dealing with healthcare. We can actually provide for the nation better services, better healthcare services, more jobs, a good brand for Israel. We're not just exporting defense, we're also helping save lives through healthcare. So I saw quite a large number of bottom lines from my perspective, and we started both a for-profit fund that invests predominantly in late-stage healthcare companies, Israeli and Americans. By the way, we've also invested in American companies started by Israelis over here. And we also started a non-for-profit organization in Israel that has the purpose of amalgamating and synchronizing all the forces in the Israeli healthcare ecosystem.
That's the 8400.
That's the 8400. So just like there is 8200 for cybersecurity, we decided that we're going to create the 8400 network, health network of individuals that come from all walks of the ecosystem. They could be researchers in the academia, they could be entrepreneurs, physicians, working for the government, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Health, and all those people, 50 individuals, every year for 8 years, we're going to create 400 individuals that work as a team every year to tackle the different challenges that we have in the Israeli healthcare ecosystem. I'm a proud member of the first cohort. We're now, the second cohort is starting. I met just a couple of hours ago with Science Abroad. I hope that they're in the crowd. It's a group of a couple of thousand Israelis that are usually PhDs and postdocs that are living here in America. They're still connected very closely to Israel, and they want to start their own enterprises here. It could be research, it could be a commercial company. We would love to fund them and keep that tight network of knowledge and intelligence that flows back and forth. Thank you, guys. So in that way, I hope that Israel will eventually become a viable alternative for them to start their businesses in Israel and not just over here in America.
Yeah, and I heard you speak in another occasion about how excited you are about this, and I don't think you can speak about cybersecurity with that kind of passion in your eyes. At the end of the day, you are saving people. Let's talk about like the transformation that's happening in life sciences that you're pushing, and the connection, the opportunity for Israel. Not just in terms of more jobs, but connection with the world. What could this do to Israel? What's the future in Israel in this relation? And are we going to shift from being startup nation to biotech nation?
I definitely think so. You know, when we started Checkpoint, we really didn't know how big it's going to be. But once you digitize things, then great things happen. So things like Google and the internet and Amazon and Facebook, all those things happen because you digitize things. Now 25 years later, so all the internet started basically in 1993 when the .com was created. Now 25 years later, we have all that phenomenal infrastructure. You know, Einstein said that he reached so high because he was sitting on the shoulders of giants. Now imagine this health tech revolution that is happening now once we have all those wearables, mobile phones, internet, artificial intelligence, IoT. Once we have all of those technologies and now we're putting them to good use in creating and providing longevity and better health care and actually detecting and preventing illnesses to begin with, we're faced with a phenomenal blue ocean of opportunities to innovate and to create. And Israelis, because by nature, you know, we're not German engineers that are born engineers and they're going to stay mechanical engineers for the rest of their lives. Israelis are jumping from one place to the other, from Israel to America, from cyber to bio. I see many, by the way, friends of mine that grew up in the high-tech space now moving into health tech. So Israelis are by nature multidisciplinary. They are very quick to adopt new technologies, and I think that the Israelis in Israel and over here can actually come up with some of the most disruptive technologies that would change our lives even over the next couple of decades. So just to give you some examples, you know, coming up with the multi-seasonal flu vaccine. I don't know how many of you know, but 100 years ago, almost to the date, about 100 million people died of the Spanish flu. If we do not prepare for the next pandemic influenza, we might see 500 million people. The equivalent of that is 500 million people dying from influenza. So we have an Israeli company that actually had built a multi-seasonal flu vaccine. We have another company that actually builds robots, nanorobots that are injected into your blood vein, and they actually perform surgical procedures without cutting your body open. We're working with another company that's actually going to build a personalized drug printer at home, just like you have, a printer or a 3D printer. I believe that in the next decade, people are going to be able to buy bioprinters that are actually going to print specific medicines at home that are going to be highly personalized. They're not just going to be precision medicine, but personalized medicine. So all those things that sound like science fiction, they're actually going to be science facts if it's not within a decade, maybe in a couple of decades. The acceleration nowadays in terms of innovation is just mind-boggling. And I believe that Israel and Israelis here and in Israel can actually play a significant role. There's a quote by the CEO of Merck that said, the big pharmaceutical company, that said that half of the Merck revenues are coming from Israeli or Israeli-related innovations. And I want those innovations, I want some of those great minds to stay in Israel and to build value, to build IP in Israel, or at least by Israelis and not necessarily to sell it out so quickly.
So you're saying the conditions are now to make Israel shifted to the biotech, but where's the opportunity for the world to be part of this?
So I'd like foreign, and this is why we started the fund, and in our fund we have quite a number of foreign investors, including Swiss banks and American banks, and definitely a lot of high net worth individuals. I'd like those people to invest in our companies, in the Israeli companies here and in Israel, and not necessarily to buy them. Once you buy those companies, then the IP goes away, and you end up with people working for other people instead of working for themselves, working for our nation. They end up working for Microsoft, for Intel. It's not such a bad thing, but an even better thing is for them to work for their own enterprises and for an Israeli company and pay taxes in Israel and not necessarily in California.
You live in Israel?
I live in Israel. I didn't live here, but I worked here for quite a few years. I was the one that built all the checkpoint sales, marketing, tech support, all that infrastructure worldwide. But I see Israel as my home. I have 4 kids there, and my eldest daughter served in Caracal. It's a mixed men and women infantry unit. Very proud of that.
Well, Marius, thank you very much for coming today. We ran out of time.
Thank you, Yasmin.
Thank you.